Welcome to the 111 Approach podcast, your go-to space for deep thoughts, real talk, and exploration of everything from spirituality to self-development and the mysteries of life with some light-hearted humour along the way. I'm your host, Lakhmi, aka the 1 Minute Healer, and each episode will dive into different topics, sometimes personal, sometimes thought-provoking, but always authentic. So whether you're here for some new perspectives, inspiration, or just a fresh take on the world with a bit of randomness thrown into the mix, you're definitely in the right place. So what are you waiting for? Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the 111 Approach podcast with me, Lakhmi, the 1 Minute Healer. And before I forget, because I have a guest on today, and usually when I have a guest on, I forget to do my gratitude just before we start because I'm so excited to introduce them, but not today. Today, we're going to start with the gratitude. So thank you so much for being here, for listening. I can definitely guarantee and promise you that this is going to be an episode that is going to blow your goddamn mind, because I have an incredible, and I do not say that lightly, I have an incredible soul sitting right next to me, live in the flesh. I know you can't see us, but right next to me. He is the powerhouse, a beautiful soul inside and out. He's like the most beautiful man I've ever laid eyes on. Can't really say that because we're not technically related, but we are kind of related because my mom adopted your dad or something, or took him under her wing when he came to this country.
She's almost like his sister, aunt, mother. Sometimes she says she's his mother, but I would say we are spiritually connected.
100%, and we will dive into that a little bit more in the episode. But yes, it's my utmost pleasure and honor to introduce Rahul Das, who is not only, like I said, an incredible, beautiful soul. He is now like trending all over the place, all over the world. He is the face of, I'm going to say it, you are the face of the Series 7 of Glow Up, BBC's iconic makeup show. And he's here with me. And I can even say that not only I've got a superstar on my podcast guest list, but we are kind of like related, like you are my brother from another mother. And we grew up together. We've known each other our whole lives. And like I said, our parents are so like spiritually connected as well. So yes, Rahul, thank you so much. I know you are a busy bitch, yeah, because you've been going on BBC Asian Network. He's been going on all the major radio channels and TV networks, but yet he's here with the 111 Approach. We're very, very blessed to have you.
Thank you, and I'm very, very blessed to be here. Thank you so much for having me and facilitating this. You are my sister, my big sister, and this for me is the interview that I've most looked forward to, and I genuinely mean that, because this is not bells and whistles. This is raw and authentic, and this is a divine intervention, and I just want to say that. I'm not saying it lightly because it's what's coming from my heart. So thank you so much for having me. I know that you've introduced me as this superstar, but let's just strip that all back and really just appreciate that we are sat here together and having this moment together, and that in itself is priceless.
Oh, you know what? You should be the host, man, because like the way you articulate things is so just effortless. Like, and everything you do, I feel like when I was watching the show, like, okay, so let's backtrack a little bit, and I'm going to get you to tell us your origin story, but I'm going to tell you my origin story of you from my perspective, because I've known you since birth. So like I said, my mom and Rahul's dad, when Rahul's dad came over from India, I think I'm going to have to get my mom to confirm this, but I think on the day of their wedding, or before the wedding of your mom and dad, yeah, he was really, really ill. He had malaria, come from India, got malaria, and then my mom was taking care of him, but it was touch and go very much. And then he has always said to my mom, like, you saved my life, and had a bond from then. So that was back in what, the 70s, 80s?
80s, and then she literally like held him through his wedding. So all of my dad's family was still in India, so he'd come alone to get married to my mom, and your mom played that role of his mother. Like she stepped in for those rituals. She played a role of his sister. Like, the connections are so deep within our family. It's a deep connection, and it was all, through spirituality.
And the way we were connected was through our Guruji, our spiritual master. And I have alluded to this in my previous episodes. I think my first episode, I said I grew up in a spiritual household, but it was a little bit different because although my family are Sikh or Punjabi, we followed the teachings of a Maharaji who was originally a Hindu. It was a Brahmin, but then when he got blessed, I think he was about what, 8 or 9 years old or something.
I believe it was like 9, yeah.
So he was in a small village in India, and he started like seeing like all the deities like of different religions. I think Guru Nanak was the first one or something.
Sorry, I think he was 16. It was his son that was 9. So his enlightenment was 16 years old, I believe. We'll have to fact check this, but I'm pretty sure it's true. So he had, his enlightenment, and it was very much gifted, this duty, if you like, from the source. And it was very much just a very intense, fast, like his actual time on earth in his physical body was not very long, but that time that he had here, the impact that he made on so many souls, like we wouldn't be sat here today if we didn't have that link. But put us aside, there's a whole like domino effect spectrum of people that have, really united through him. And I think for me, my own journey and doing my own independent research into my own backgrounds, being from Hindu, my dad's family are Hindu Punjabi, my mom's family are Sikh, and learning about those two religions and seeing the teachers and how they coincide with what we've been brought up with, it very much is kind of, take this lightly, but cherry picking the best of everything and realizing that the message is one, and the oneness and the unity, and just being there as for humanity and showing up as a humanitarian is basically it.
Exactly. And this is where I speak a little bit about when I was growing up. I didn't really feel like I belonged anywhere because we weren't traditional Sikhs. We didn't go to the Gurdwara. We went to our Dera, our spiritual temple, because our Maharaji, like I said, was born a Hindu, but because he started being enlightened with all these different deities, like he was like writing the Guru Granth Sahib, the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, he was able to see and tap into these energies. And so he started preaching in India back in the 70s that, look, I was born a Hindu, but I'm able to recite all these different holy books and see these ascended masters. He was basically trying to preach that the fact that is the word Hindu, the word Muslim, the word Christian is just a label. We are human first, and we need to start celebrating and coming together as humanity versus the labels that we've put on ourselves. So that's how we kind of grew up. And this is where our connection comes through from a soul perspective is we grew up with Darshan Das as our, in air quotes, as our religion, but really we are just humanitarianism. So that's where I've always struggled with traditional religion because we never grew up like that, right?
Yeah, and I think growing up as, South Asians in Britain, we're already facing our fair share of prejudice and challenges. Forget our generation, our parents' generation would have had that, first hand, and then, grandparents as well. So navigating life, knowing that you were always different, but then also within your own community, being a bit of an outsider was a challenge within itself. But when we were amidst our community and around each other and our parents and growing up around their philosophy and their love and passion for this way of life. And when you actually sit down and look at it, the way that we've been raised, there's a lot of common denominators, like the way our values, our moral compasses, how we navigate life, how we treat other human beings, and how we show up in the world. A lot of it is down to what we've been taught and where we come from. And for me, I couldn't imagine it any other way. I don't think at this point in my life and this era that I'm currently in, I would not be able to show up the way that I'm showing up now without that behind me.
100%. And you speak about that, but I will hold my hand up and say that I feel that now. But I think when I was growing up and going through it, I didn't get it. I was like, why are we so different? I couldn't see the beauty in it that I can do now because I fully now can appreciate the way we treat each other and other people and stuff. But it's like now with the level of awareness I've got and the teachings make sense to me now. I think we spoke about this offline as well. Like I really wish when we were growing up and we were at our like dera or at our temple, like I didn't understand anything like what I don't understand Punjabi, like I don't. I can't even use the excuse that my parents were born in East Africa and they speak of Swahili because I don't understand that either. I would sit there listening to the sermons and I just didn't understand anything and I couldn't really resonate with it. And that's, to be fair, I still don't to this day. But now finally some of it's getting translated. So I'm able to understand a little bit more the deeper meaning behind the teachings. Again, being totally honest, do I resonate with all of it? Not really, but the more I sort of, I think from you, to be fair, Rahul, like just as we were talking about the whole wearing black thing, I never knew that. I was told it was because, oh, black's an evil color. And I was just like, what? Really? Can colors be evil? I don't know. I just didn't get it. And the rebellious side of me was like, I'm not allowed to wear black. Guess what color I'm going to go out and buy as soon as I'm allowed out the house and I have my own money. I went and bought a black top. And I remember this so clearly now. We were in India and I fell in love with this black sari. And we were about to catch a plane. And my dad was like, no, you're not allowed to have it because it's black. I was like, I'm not leaving the shop. I was being such a brat. I was being such a fucking brat. And I can't even say that. I think I was about 19 or 20. It wasn't even like a young teenager. I was like an old teenager. I was being a brat. And like, he ended up buying it for me, like, because I literally would have like not got on the car.
I've definitely had those moments. Like, I think especially when it comes to fashion, like I definitely love experimenting and expressing myself through what I wear. And yeah, the black thing was very much a sore spot for me. I was like, ugh. Black just it's calling me, and it's that case of what you're not allowed to do. And this is prevalent in our community. And generally, I think when you're told you can't do something, you want to do it even more. When I first started working my first makeup counter job, we had to wear a black uniform. And I was like, yes, like it's my work now. Like I get an excuse. And that was my first foot into doing it. But for me, I feel like I've done my own independent research on it now and understanding why I'm drawn to it and why I feel obliged to wear it, even though I understand, in my community, it's probably not the done thing because it associates with certain things. And what I've read up is that it's because as black is the absence of color, isn't it? And of light. So you absorb energy a lot quicker. And if you're wearing that color, you will absorb the energy around you, which is quite contradictory that in, British society, at least I know some of the cultures do it as well, but black is worn at funerals. And in Indian culture, we wear white at funerals, which represents purity and light. And it's also quite a significant color for like close to godliness, cleanliness and godliness. So we wear white to signify the purity and, purifying the soul, moving on and ascending to different realms. However, black is absorbing that energy. So at a funeral wearing black, you're absorbing that negative energy, which something that I've heard quite recently, and it's really struck something in me because I'm like, wow, it's so normal to do that, especially in the UK. And is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing? We're absorbing that, the energy that is probably what we do not need. So I'm quite conscious when I wear black. I do still wear it, but it's a matter of being able to handle those energies that you may absorb.
Yeah, okay. It's so interesting. Oh my gosh, like jaw-dropping moment. But also, though, this is where it gets really interesting about not just like what we're talking about, this color stuff, because there is a lot about color theory. But so we're saying, okay, so black is absorbing and energy, but then we do kala tikka, which is the black dot behind your ear to repel negative energy. So it's
and don't get me wrong, by all means, I'll put my hands up. Disclaimer: like I'm no expert. Before people try to cancel us, so I just want to say, I'm still learning and I'm still trying to understand this because, again, like you said, Gala tikka, kajal. Kajal is a makeup form which has traditionally been worn to repel negative energy. It's also a self-cleansing tool, which, the dirt and debris that would have been in those climates, it repels that as well. So there's so much to unearth and really dig into. But I'm just trying to flick through the history books and see what have we been doing and why. It's like questioning that. And a lot of my inspiration for my foot and stepping into the world of makeup artistry is to do with ancient techniques and that my love for the ancient world. Some of the practices and techniques, some may call them rituals, I do resonate with.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? We'll touch on the ancient stuff in a minute. But like I said, we're not experts. We're literally just having this conversation and things are coming to me now. I'm like, oh, but what about this? But also, and keep saying this and I repeat this all the time, but it's like just because they were done way back when or as a tradition or a ritual or whatever, like I always say that who said that was true? Who said that? And like, so literally, I could stand here and say now, like, green has now been shown that green is the color that associates with the third eye. I could spiel off some facts and say I got channeled this information while I was doing a meditation, and this came through. If I had enough substance behind it, and let's be honest, if I had enough budget to market it correctly and get some white papers written, that could be a theory as well, because we all make our own theories, right? And then if enough people get behind it, then it becomes a belief. This is how it goes. So what I'm trying to say here is, I feel this is where I had that disconnect with the whole, even within our own community, even within our own quote unquote religion of Das Dharam and stuff. Is like there was a lot of rules. There was a lot of rules, and I think I don't do well with rules, which is quite funny because I like to have some structure. So like when I did that 10-day Vipassana retreat, silent meditation retreat, you weren't allowed your phone, you weren't allowed to talk, you weren't even allowed to bring in something to write down in. But one of my clients was like, Lakhmi, you should sneak one in because you're going to get so many channeled things coming through. And I thought, yeah, okay. But it was so funny because I'd obviously broken one of the rules because I'd snuck a notebook in. But it really irked me because, like, on the third day when I was doing my daily walk, I saw two girls talking, and I was like, "They're breaking the rules." I was saying this in my head, and then the other voice in my head was like, "Yeah, but look, you've broken a rule," and then I had to justify it to myself. I was like, "Yeah, but my rule isn't impacting anybody else. I'm literally just writing down my own thoughts. Them two talking is disturbing the silence for everyone because we can hear them talking." And it was so interesting to have that level of awareness of I'm justifying to myself that, right, look at me, you've broken a rule, but it's okay. Somebody else has broken another rule, it's not okay. So, like, kind of going off on a tangent here, but I was saying these rules I just didn't do really well with. So I massively rebelled. But I feel like you've always stayed in that space, have you, or have you not? Oh, we're gonna spill some tea. We're gonna spill some cha now.
I mean, let's boil the kettle real quick. No, I totally get when you were talking about the retreat and the rule breaking and you breaking a rule that you felt that you could get away with, but then seeing somebody breaking a rule that wasn't so discreet, you'd be quick to point the finger. This, I feel like, was very prevalent as well, not just in, our faith, but generally, I would say in, any cultures, it happens where, yeah, there's a rule, don't break it, but you can do it hush hush and that's okay. But if you do it publicly, it's a scandal. And that's very much how I felt growing up, starting to learn about myself and my preferences and how I wanted to navigate the world, my life, and knowing who I was and learning about that, because it's a never ever going journey. Like we're never fully there, right? But then you start to get a grasp on, no, this is it now, like this is who I am. Growing up in my household, my parents have been very supportive of me, and my mum put me in acting school at the age of 4, so she had enough of me twirling around to Jumma Jumma De De, all the Bollywood songs, so she wanted to fuel that and give me a good head start. So having that in my household was very much a safety unit for me. But stepping outside of that, in the community where there's societal expectation, gender roles and what we should be doing and what is your child doing. And it happens everywhere, not just in, our experience and Dastaram. It happens in, mandirs, gurdwaras, churches. It happens everywhere. In a community environment, it does happen. So naturally, I think that caused me, when I hit late teens, going into my 20s, learning about who I was, hitting the clubs, drink my experiences with alcohol, which was also forbidden. I definitely had more rebellion. My mom was a punk rocker. For God's sake, like I'm a child of a punk rocker, so it was gonna come out one way or another. But that also, I only learned about that recently, just a disclaimer. So having parents that have kind of navigated their own way through life, it was very much a protection of me, but there's only so much you can be protected, right? So there was a period where I was like, no, I can't do both. Like, clearly I'm already destined to go to hell. Like, so let's just
I'll meet you there.
save me a seat. So if I'm gonna burn, let's burn like a phoenix, right? So yeah, I've very much gone through that. And, believe me, like, yes, there's keeping up appearances, etc. But it's not sat right with my soul of trying to be this person and then knowing deep down that, yeah, in whatever I do, there's going to be judgment. And I guess a lot of me in my younger years overcompensated with trying to be that perfect role model or child, because I knew that a big part of who I really was not the conventional way or not the done thing. And I wasn't going to go down that route because it doesn't make me happy. I think for me, it took only like a few years ago, I'll be really honest with you. When I moved from my family home, which was very close to our dera where we'd go. So growing up with that access and then moving away and then kind of navigating my own life, it was then that something came over me and it was an awakening. I would say it was definitely a turning point for me where I was like, damn, I had access to that so easily and I didn't utilize it. And it's not just the physical, it's not just, being present of the place of worship. It was more than that. It was something else pulling me in. So I committed to going every month to Sangrand, which is a monthly, meeting based on the lunar calendar. And every month has a spiritual significance, whether it's the harvest or whichever month it is. I committed, I was like, okay, you can take annual leave to go and, live it up in the sun and, have your beach holidays and go to raves and festivals. But can you commit to 12 days of your holiday to go and, spend a day there? I did do half days. I was working till 1, and then so I committed to 6 days. But 6 days is nothing. So I did that off my own back. I kind of reinvented myself, and I hadn't been going back for so many years that I literally stepped in as a brand new person. People didn't recognize who I was, whose child I was, and I prayed on that. And I was like, I just don't want to go in and be associated with my parents. Not that that's a bad thing, but I just want to forge my own path, and I don't want any expectations of me. I want to go and absorb what it is and understand it now that I'm an adult. Like I grew up into this as a child, kind of blindly and not understanding it. Now that I've navigated life and I'm getting this pull, let me go and see what it's all about.
I love that you did that and love that you had that pull, because obviously your soul was yearning to go back and understand it to a level where you can fully integrate into what you want to believe and follow and what your soul is calling you to do. And I guess this is where it comes down to tapping into your own soul and seeing what works for you, because like Rahul was just saying, we grew up into this, right? We had no choice, because this is what all we knew was like, okay, to the point where I have these like standout images from like when you were young. I remember in year 6, I had to repeat year 6 twice. No, not because I was thick, because actually I was too clever, and they moved me up a year, but then they wouldn't let me take the 11 plus a year early because you had to be like 11, right? So then I ended up having to repeat year 6 again. And I remember one of the teachers said something about religion. She was asking like, put your hands up if you're Christian, and put your hands up. And I didn't put my hand up for anything. And she goes, oh, what are you? I says, I'm just Indian. And I genuinely thought Indian was one race. Right. I was like, I'm just Indian. She goes, yeah, but what type? Are you Hindu? Are you Sikh? Are you Muslim? I was like, I'm just Indian. I didn't understand because we grew up with, we are just one human race. We're Indian. My parents are East African, fine, whatever, but inherently we are from India. And like you were saying, because we were already the token brown people and we were getting met with racism, but we also got internal racism because we didn't go to the normal religious places like the Gurdwara or wherever, the mandirs and stuff. We had our own. I remember getting bullied in school by another Indian girl. And then she started saying, "Oh, you're a part of a cult. You're a part of a cult." Yeah. So I got all of that. And like, I was like, what is going on? And that made me pull away even more because I wanted to fit in. I wanted to have friends. I was like, I don't understand it. And I think also the reason I really pushed back from the whole Dera was because I think a lot of people would just come up to me and say, "Oh, you're Maraji's Lakhmi." So I have to backtrack a little bit here. So when I was born, our spiritual master, the Maraji, he, I guess, took me under his wing. So from a very early age, he would take me and sit me on his lap and preach to hundreds of people up and down the country. I was literally like 8 or 9 months old. He would tell my mom, pack a bag, taking Lakhmi to London. So people saw me and said, "Oh my God, she's so lucky. He's got her." When he got assassinated in 82, I was about 2.5 years old. Obviously, people would then kind of latch on to the next best thing, which apparently was me because I'd been sitting on his lap. And I think your sister got this a lot as well because they were very close, like we're about a year apart. And for me, I just found it really weird because then even when I was growing up and I'd go to the sermons and you'd see all these people come up and just, I remember one time this person was like, "Can I touch your hand?" And I'm like, she was like, "Oh, your Maharaji's Lakhmi. He sat with you. He fed you. Can I touch your hand?" And I thought that was so weird. And I was just like, I'm just like you. Please don't put me on some kind of pedestal. And that's just what made me feel a little bit strange. And I went the other direction. I was like, I don't believe in anything. I don't want to know anything. So there were a few things that happened as well when I was growing up. Some that actually directly involved Maharaji's son, who has now taken over the mission and is helping to spread the teachings of the love, the peace, the unity, humanity. But, back in the day, there were a few instances that happened, and it was like a blatant contradiction of everything that this mission had stood for, including like family members as well. Out of respect for the people involved, I won't go into like the finer details about it yet. Maybe one day I can do it in the right way, share my personal experience about it. But right now, all I want to say is that, most people in any religion, you do pick and choose what you follow to some extent to suit you because I fully understand that and back that because you have to make it your own. But what I do find issues with is that when those same people, then but each one of us just need to uncover it ourselves. And so, yes, we should question things that don't fit right with us. And as long as you're not hurting anyone or preventing them from doing what they do, then carry on. And that's why I had no problem questioning him in front of my whole family and getting all this pressure put on me for being Margie's Luckme and stuff. I don't ask for any of this shit. I was like, I don't even believe any of this shit. I can't believe I was talking about this in front of my whole family. This is why I was the black sheep a little bit. But I now, we've actually made peace with it now, which is quite nice. But I just had a very different experience with it. I love the fact that you've come back to it as a new person. I wish I could do that, but I think for me right now, I need to look at things that make sense to me. I'm still figuring it out, to be quite honest.
I think for me, like what you've just said, there was a couple of standout points. I think one of them would have been going back to when you said people started, looking at you as though you've had this interaction with this divinity and you are a part of that, which maybe a topic for another day, but I very much think that you do have that energy. It's very prevalent in you and you are doing this work for a reason. Look at me, like you have a gift and you are sharing that with the world. So if you don't already know that, which I'm sure that you do, please hold that dear to your heart because there is somebody out there or many masses of people that you will touch. And for me, is basically carrying on that magic that somebody would have saw in you at that age where you probably didn't know you had a gift is now your mission is the gift. You are working tirelessly to share this gift with the world. So yeah, that's that. But from what you said about you saying that I'm just a normal person, that is one of the big standout points that I have resonated with from the teachings, from watching the videos. And yeah, I'm quite grateful that I can understand Punjabi, I can speak Punjabi, and it's not the best, but I can, converse and understand. So this 12 days I'm going to commit. Let's do some work. Like let's absorb. So I was sitting there trying to understand, and some days I'll be honest with you, I didn't take a single thing away from me. But there were some days where I was like, that was a channeled message. I needed to hear that. And it really struck chords with me. And that was my crash course. That was the year where I was like, right, I'm recharged now. I understand what this is, why my parents have brought us up into this, why they have devoted their lives to this. My mom is very much like, you can't bullshit her. And she said to me once, she goes, do you think I would be this devoted if it was a load of mumbo jumbo? And I'm like, yeah, I believe that. I very much believe that from you because you had a choice to come into this. It wasn't forced upon you. And that has also been a big driving factor for me. And the fact that my parents were destined to meet through that is another reason, which is why I'm also a bit of a hopeless romantic. So,
Right. But I'm still single.
no, it will happen in the right time. But so one of the standout points was he does say quite a lot of the time, and I've noticed this in a theme of a lot of the videos that I've watched of the satsangs is we can all be the same. We are just like him. He's said very much like, you're all sitting here listening to me, but you have the tools and the mediums to channel that energy and become that person. Get closer to God, get closer to the source, get closer to yourself, and be one of the things that I heard this year. Lakhmi, like I've watched the same videos now, probably 3 years on the trot, because I have been committed to going, and every time I've watched the same video, I hear a different message. One of the messages that I heard recently, which was basically, and it was so the timing of it was just as I'd filmed Glow Up, so I knew that was gonna be out there in the world. I'd gone there, I'd done the absolute most, the most makeup I've ever worn, the most that I've kind of shown my circle, my community, my family, my friends, who I am in the world. Yeah. Because that is very much what I've shown. And I had that little bit of, there was excitement of, oh, it's going to come out. But there was also a little bit of apprehension and shit, there's no going back now. And what the message that I'd heard was, we have to really tap into ourselves and really understand. And these are things that we know, like we generally, like, the self-love and understanding who you are. And it's a long journey, and it takes a lot of work. But who are you? What do you stand for? Are you living authentically? Are you really being true to your calling, your intuition? And who are you alone? And that person, are you that person in the world, or are you wearing multiple masks? Are you wearing different layers to adapt and appease so many different people? And believe me, look me, I have worn many a mask. I had a mask for every day of the week. I had a mask for every season. I had a mask for every community, every environment, every place that I stepped into. I had a mask. And it was only so long before I was like, I can't do this anymore. I cannot do this. I cannot lie to myself to make sure that everybody else is comfortable around me. Because if my light is too bright for you, then you better get the sunglasses out.
Motherfucker, sorry, I have to swear, but holy shit, I'm like sitting here trying to be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Yes, man.
And it was a confirmation of that through somebody that I look up to, somebody that I aspire to. My guru said that to me, and it was like, okay, thanks. You've given me the thumbs up now. Let's get this show on the road.
Oh my God, so deep. And this is it, right? Like, as you were saying that, and you were reciting like Amaraji's teachings, like this is nothing new. Like this is nothing new. This is not new to him.
You don't have to go to the data to know this.
You don't have to go anywhere. Everything is inside us. I think where religion and communities play its role is to help make sense of everything for people, right? And yes, I guess it gets a little bit restricted to try and control the masses. and sometimes it goes too far in that direction, and then we maybe lose the core sense of what it is what we're trying to do. And all we're trying to do is to get closer to source, I guess, right? But I say this and my hand goes out there, and I keep reminding ourselves, source is not out there, it's inside us. And this is what every single teaching, no matter what religion you are, no matter what faith or background you are, even if you're an atheist, right? If you don't believe in God, you believe in yourself, innit? So, and then if every other religion is saying God is within you or the universe is within you, and an atheist is like, I don't believe in anything, I just believe in my body. Well, essentially, you're believing in something, right? You're believing in yourself, and that is what it is. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to just wrap up this episode here, but do not worry, because literally I'm going to press stop and we're going to record another episode, because I feel like the wearing of the masks is going to be another episode we're going to go a bit deeper in. Because it's so funny you should say that today, because I literally put up something on my stories about, I'm so sick of people wearing masks. I'm so sick of all of us wearing masks every single day in our lives, at work. You know, I'm trying to go into companies to do Reiki and wellness. And it's almost like with the big corporates, I've got to like change the labels and I've got to wear this kind of corporate mask. And I'm like, why the fuck do we have to do this? Why do I have to pretend that it's not as spiritual as it is? Why are we so scared of this S word? Do you know what I mean? Spirit, spiritual. It's just a different word for energy. But everyone can get behind energy. But as soon as you say spiritual, oh God, that sounds a bit woo woo. It's the first say fucking. And on that note, we're going to do a 1 minute meditation. Then we're going to wrap this up. But do not worry, because part 2 is coming, baby.
Stay tuned.
Okay, so I'm going to let you choose a 1 minute meditation. What would you like to do today?
I think, based off of the themes that we've talked about, I want to really hone into ourselves. I think it's very important to do that. And a lot of people, the mask wearing is because of the lack of that self-awareness. So let's honor this meditation to loving ourselves and being gentle with ourselves.
That is beautiful. And I've never done this before, but do you want to lead it? It's up to you.
Okay, let's try. The master has spoken, so I will try my best. First of all, we will take in a deep breath. Inhale, fill in those lungs and hold. And as we release that breath, release any tension, worries, and any fear or shame that you may have. And now, continuing that breathing, just think about what it is that makes you feel safe and what it is that makes you feel most at peace with yourself. And just hold on to that thought as we meditate for 1 minute. And just take in one final inhale. And as you exhale, just know that that safe space is always within you and you can tap into that at any moment.
My gosh, that was so beautiful. Thank you so much. And in part 2, we're going to go into a little bit of deeper detail on why you are so good at doing the meditation, because I want to talk a little bit about your journey on Glow Up. And we're going to talk about the wearing of the masks. And fun fact, like, your mask is live on Snapchat. So we're going to talk about that in part 2. Oh, remember to obviously download, share, subscribe, tag, all the good stuff. Go and follow Rahul. I'll put his socials on in the show notes. But also go and check out Glow Up Series 7. It's on BBC iPlayer. And show him some love, man. And also go and see how good looking. Look at my good looking family, you know. Runs in the genes, right?
Genes.
Yeah. Amazing. All right. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Oh, God, no, guys. We'll see you people on the next episode. Sending you love, light, and blessings.